worth going in and sorting any of those particular points out. Yeah, okay, so liver 4, which I think is on the foot, on the crease of the foot. Yep, okay. And it's on the left. So this little point here, hold. Okay, so let's see whether that point is in first, second or third stage stress. Hold. Hold. Yeah, right. No, it's not letting anything through, so it's overworking. Okay, so what sort of movement do we need with it? Something electrical. So not flower essences, not barks, not essential oils. Tuning fork combo for liver 4. Okay, so is liver one of the coordinates? Is it the first or second coordinate? It's the second, so what's the first coordinate? Okay, so it's spleen, pancreas, and then liver. Yellow, spleen, pancreas is yellow. Okay, so liver spleen energy is about when something is going on in your world and you feel insignificant. So energetically, you can imagine when you started going to doctors and they couldn't find anything, and then all of a sudden your symptoms are getting worse and people start to feel like you're exaggerating your symptoms so that you get some sympathy and some recognition that something's going on in your world. The liver spleen energy, or spleen pancreas, so the liver spleen, it's all about feeling insignificant and other people thinking you're exaggerating things, so then that makes you feel less as a human being. You're not less, you're just sick, but they don't understand it. So you can imagine that liver's been working its tush off trying to clear pesticides and chemicals and heavy metals and, you know, all the things like gluten and sugars and stuff that you haven't been able to metabolize. So your liver's been working really hard, and liver, when we internalize it, it explodes as rage and anger. So when you're not heard, when you're not listened to, when you're not focused on, it's really hard for your nervous system to go, it's okay. So, yeah, and then eventually you just feel abused and you become intolerant of people. So that's sort of the next stage of it, because the abuse has been so long from people who should have listened to you, where they made you feel insignificant and worthless and it's not a great system that we have sometimes. So, Dagga Hakea. So this is all about anger. So Dagga Hakea is, it's from the bush flower essence, it's one of the ones. It's about resentment and bitterness towards close family, friends and lovers. It's just that real energy because you've been misunderstood, mislabeled and abused for so long, and they don't even see it half the time. They just don't see it. So let's see what we need to do in here. Yeah. Which meridian do we need to run? The liver, the spleen. Okay, so more the liver. Okay. How many times? I can't overdo it. It wants lots. Okay. Sorry, no, all good. Let me ask the body. Can I leave the book on there? Is it going to impact badly? I should take it off. It really needs the energy flow. Okay. take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively transmute my resentment and my bitterness towards close family, friends and lovers into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively express my feelings openly and forgive others as a means of healing myself. Twitching there. Yeah. Interesting. I make the commitment to I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively transform my resentment and my bitterness towards close family, friends and lovers into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively express my feelings openly and forgive others as a means of healing myself. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively dissolve my resentment and my bitterness towards close family, friends and lovers into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively express my feelings openly and forgive others as a means of healing myself. Little liver 4. Okay, so let's see whether that's ready to shimmy shimmy. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 35. So that's halved it. Good. So large intestine 1. And on 9. So the wrist. Yeah. Another 20. And down to our little liver 4s. Charles was saying at the course that he's found times where meridian points have actually moved. Was I telling you that? So when someone has trauma or operations or even...
That hurts a little bit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
No, please. Yeah, so he has found them where they've just totally been in a different spot, you know, like inches away from where they're supposed to be. And there's usually a trauma involved.
Well, they'd have to be.
Yeah. But that one just felt like a really big blockage. Okay, that's better. Okay. So rechecking, I'll just make sure that hasn't activated anything else in our survival pattern. Yeah, it has. Okay. Because your liver's been trying to protect you. So now that we've calmed it down and the vigilance isn't there, your reticular activating system's come out and said, hang on, are we safe? So the reticular activating system controls the hormones we release when something new happens in our world. And when we've been energetically and physically sensitive for a long time, the world is not a safe place to our nervous system, so therefore it doesn't want to let go of that pattern. So it's low serotonin again and the vigilance again. And that's why, one of the really basic kinesiology techniques for calming down stress is hand on the forehead, hand on the rear of the head, because that helps to connect the frontal cortex, which is our problem solving. And back here, that's where your RAS is, it's where your cerebellum is, it's where a lot of that energy of creating new pathways, new beliefs, new systems, so that the nervous system doesn't have to be terrified all the time. Vestigial nucleus showed up again. Okay. So the balance seems to be a real thing. Let me just throw your body a bit out of kilter. And let's just see whether or not that threw the celestial circuit, just out of curiosity, because... And hold. Yeah, right. No, so it's so vulnerable. Okay. So left. It's the right side again. So yeah. So your nervous system's so vulnerable it doesn't want to move because it knows that any movement might create pain or trauma. Once again, more of the same, more of something else. So Just double check that it's not saying there's anything else in PDSS. Okay, so back to the organs in the sympathetic nervous system that are being affected. Yeah, right, so that was through the heart chakra that we will just double check to make sure it's back up and running now. And hold. Hold. Beautiful. Hold. Feels like there's something in there. Let me just amygdalarize it. It's not bad, you know, just something not quite. Yeah, okay. So the heart chakra would still rather run away rather than connect it. And once again, I'm sure it's the empath thing, you know. So as soon as you start to connect with someone, if you're taking it on, that's hard work. Yeah, I'm not sure what the equivalent is in the States, but in Australia we've got the Australian bushflower essences, and there are specific remedies like angel sword, which helps get rid of other people's negative energy out of our aura. There's things like fringed violet, which once again, these are Australian bushflower remedies. Fringed violet, which is to help to heal the aura after old traumas and stresses. And things like Boab, because there's something going on in the family genetics. And Boab is fantastic for family crap, just stuff that we believe ourselves because we've been told it from our family over our life. So, you know, there's all sorts of things that you can take, and I know there's lots of really good essences in the States. Kidney energy. Okay. I'm just going to chuck a towel over so I can check the Solaz.
Oh, sorry.
No, all good. Hold up. And hold up. And kidney energy is about fear, threat, danger.
The one time I don't wear pants.
All good, all good. Yeah, so in the amygdala, associated with kidney energy, it's just the straight fear, threat, danger. This is the kidney meridian. Okay, so really, let me check the immune system. So let's see whether that's connected to the survival stuff in the background. And hold, yeah. Hold, 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 hold. I did a little 3-minute video this morning, and it's just sort of talking you through how to do these little rebalances for yourself, because you've got so many allergies. It's sort of like you can imagine initially it's more about just activating the immune system a couple of times a day, just getting it up and running. But the more, you know, if you make a nice list of the things and then just start slowly but surely increasing the number of things that you're boosting your immunity to, just so that your immune system starts to think, okay, everything isn't dangerous, life is good. And hold, 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 hold. Beautiful. So because you've got the massive allergies and everything, I'm going to check MCAS and histamines firstly. So in relation to MCAS. And hold. Yeah. Hold. 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 Yeah, right. Interesting. So this side of the body's pathology, this side of the body is intolerances. So funnily enough, the MCAS is linked in with some of your pathology. So the stuff going wrong in your body that you can feel. Not so much with the intolerances. That might be a different thing, or maybe we have to get into a specific histamine receptor in order to find that. But you know, MCAS is showing up a bit, so that could be something to chat with a functional medicine doctor about. It takes time to shift it, and if you're so sensitive, you've probably had issues with supplements over the years as well. But it's about cleaning up the receptors, so the histamine receptors, and activating the DAO release from the stomach, so diamine oxidase. So if you're not releasing that, then you can't get the histamine out of your system, and the histamine can build up in the gut, the uterus, the brain, the spine. So when it builds up in your spine, you've got this low-level histamine all the time creating inflammation. And of course, from the spine, if those nerves are irritated, then that can impact on pain anywhere else in the body. So I tend to use things like, once again here in Australia, things like Brockshot sulforaphane, sulfuraclear, things like N-acetylcysteine, vitamin C, you know, there's some, zeolites, fully purified zeolites. There's a product called Zetox that I love. Okay, so something about the MCAS is linked in with that subclossal gyrus again. So, hold out. Histamine, so once again, mast cells. So mast cell activation syndrome, check it out. There's a chick called Dr. Tanya Dempsey on Facebook. She regularly has, once a month or something, she has live videos where you can, live feeds on Facebook where you can actually ask questions and things. She's a font of knowledge, she's amazing, and she works with one of the top MCAS researchers in America. Can't remember, but I think she's New York State somewhere. No, I could be wrong. But she's great, love her. Okay, so let's check histamine receptors overall. And hold. So histamine was both pathology as well as intolerances, as opposed to MCAS, which really only showed on the pathology side. So once again, these are the sort of things you can do with your little monkey arm tap technique that I sort of put on there this morning. So you can go in relation to histamines and then do your tapping. In relation to MCAS and then do your tapping. And then your thymus gland tap at the end. But I took you through it, and because they're so stressful, you can run your central meridian at the end of each little circuit as well. Bit by bit it just starts to help your brain cope with allergies, and then bit by bit it boosts the immune system and calms down the fear associated with it so that the immune system can start being more functional. In relation to histamine. Hold, 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 okay. And now let me check your stomach energy. Hold them, yeah, and hold. Now I'm going to ask about optimal release of DAO. And hold, yeah, okay, and hold, right. So, yeah, so at the moment, your stomach's forgotten how to make DAO, so you won't be releasing enough to get all the histamine out of your body. And when you've been in a hyperallergic state for a long, long time, histamine's the thing that's kept you alive. So your nervous system, you know, it's sort of like it's shut itself down to keep you safe, but what it ends up doing is just creating other co-diseases that aren't so pleasant and functional to be around. This is stomach meridian again. Underneath the left breast, that sort of sends lymph to your stomach, so anytime your stomach's playing up, you can sort of rub that point. Underneath your right breast, that is the liver point. It supports liver detoxification. Those are the neurolymphatic points in Touch for Health. Anytime you're feeling stressed, putting your hand on your forehead, like I said before, you can add in the rear of the brain as well. But this one happens to come, it sends blood supply to the stomach as well. We've only got a couple of minutes left. So in relation to optimal release of DAO, and hold. Okay, so something we can do to round off this treatment. So, is there anything we need to do consciously? CC Trust A6 months mental A, B, C. Oh, okay. So there's a little hippocampal pathway we'll just do quickly because it's about motivation. Hold out for me. Yeah. So hippocampus is a memory center. Because when we have anxiety and panic attacks and stress, we're basically living in the past. We can't move forward because of the fear of things repeating from the past. So that shuts down our motivation to move forward. So the hippocampus, when we've got that negative thought pattern going on, it tends to make it harder for us to even remember what we can do to look after ourselves. So it's fear, threat, danger for looking after yourself. Oh, beautiful. Anything else before I close up circuit? Yep. Yes, raw solution chakra essence. Cranial chickpeas tuning forks. Kidneys. It's double kidney, so the fear and anxiety in there is just massive. Yeah, double kidney energy is about fear and terror. Okay, is it the kidney meridian? Is it a chakra? It's a chakra. It's the base